Hello, everyone. How are you today? Today, with thanks to Mickey over at Creative Edge Publicity, we have the pleasure of getting to speak to author Kathrin Hutson. And you're not just an author, though. You also are a ghostwriter as well, which I find to be very interesting.
Thank you. Yes, I am. I write all the things.
Which is, I've heard a lot about ghostwriters, but of course, I may have some questions about more of that
Of
later
course.
on because you don't hear about them very often, but they really need to get more notice because they do a lot of the work behind the scenes for a lot of authors.
True. It is true. It is.
Well, wonderful. Well, we might as well just get chatting. I don't have anybody in the chat as of right now, but we might as well just go ahead and get talking and asking questions. And then as people pop in, I'll make sure to pop them on the screen. And if they have any questions for you, we'll pop those up for you as well. I'm going to ask you the first question that you probably have heard time and time over and over again. Did you always want to be an author? Did you always want to
Yes, that's
write?
oh. Oh, you went out for a little bit, but now you're back. So good.
Oh
Yes.
no.
Okay. I have always wanted to be doing what I'm doing now since I was 10 when I started writing. And when I discovered that, my trajectory was pretty much set for life. I went to the University of Colorado at Boulder here in Colorado and majored in creative writing fiction. So I was accepted into their program there. And that was always what I wanted to do. And then I got to where I am now through a series of rather winding and convoluted paths. I didn't go down the road that I had planned out for myself, but I am much happier, I think, now to have gotten to where I am now.
Where you're
It,
at. So you're happy with
yeah,
where you ended up.
yes, I am. I don't think I would be where I am now if I had stuck to the original plan, which is how things work, right? Like,
Yes.
I have learned when I try to plan things all the way out. That's when I know it's never going to work out the way I
Well, that's
expected.
really exciting because at least you weren't one of those people that just settled and just stayed where you were at and just dealt with it and hated what you were doing for the rest of your life until you were able to retire.
Yes, no, I've never been very good at settling at all. So it's a good thing for me to be doing now.
So you don't just write into one genre. You do some dark fantasy, some sci-fi. What other genres do you write in?
Well, yeah, my own books under my own name are fantasy, mostly grimdark, epic. When we're just talking about, dark fantasy, I write urban fantasy as well, and dystopian sci-fi, and LGBTQ speculative fiction. So really all of the above with queer characters. And then when it comes to my ghostwriting, I have written in every genre except for romance. I just can't do romance
The romance one.
for the sake of romance. Yeah. But everything else I have written in every other genre, and including nonfiction as well. So I've done
Oh,
it all.
really? Oh,
Yeah.
well, that's exciting. I mean, my heart lies with dark fiction. However, I
Mhm.
read in every genre that there is. Not so much romance,
Right?
but
Yep.
even into the nonfiction, I love it and I just devour it. And it's so neat to hear that you've had the experience to be able to write into all those different genres. Because a
Mhm.
lot of times when you talk to an author, it's mainly just the genres that they focus on themselves, or that they are comfortable in or they enjoy writing in. But
Sure.
being a ghostwriter, you've got to experience it all. Do
I
you have a
have.
do you have a favorite genre, or just is it too hard to pick?
I honestly think that urban fantasy is what I have written the most. I never thought in a million years that I would ever pick it up as a genre to write, until I started ghostwriting. And then I said,
Mm.
okay, I'll try it. I've written at least 65, probably 70 now with my own books, just strictly urban fantasy novels. And I have so much fun with it. And I think on the other side of that, anything that I can really take to the fullest extent of its darkness and violence and psychological torture. That is what I really love. So that can be done in any genre, really.
Oh, absolutely. That's one thing I love about dark fiction or weird fiction is there's so many subgenres within horror, dark fiction that you can really experience and escape, and you can be experimental, and you can mix genres together, and you can lead anything dark. Even historical fiction could go dark.
Oh yeah, yes, and it does.
Yes.
There's a lot of stuff in history too that is
Oh yeah.
super dark as well.
Torturing, terrifying, history events, all of that good stuff. And it is like realistic horror, right? It's even like, even that, like the psychological horror thrillers, it's really mind bending, but it's also scary because so much of it can be like realistic, almost like true crime-ish. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Hey, James, I want to say thanks for popping in and coming and hanging out with us for a bit. So do you want to talk a little bit more about your specific books? You have quite a few series out there. You've got the Accessory to Magic series, the Blue Helix series. You've got a couple other series as well that you've got out there.
Yes. The Accessory to Magic series is my most recent, and that one is urban fantasy, action adventure. It's like a mashup of so many different things. It's very dark and very violent and like high octane, which is where I excel, and it has so much humor in it as well. I also learned through ghostwriting that I can write humor, which was a very exciting discovery. The Accessory to Magic series, I just released the 5th book in that series on June 24th. So it's completed now. It's finished. And that series, I think, has exploded far more than any of my others to date, which is really wonderful. And that's about, let's see, my little tagline for this series is an apprentice witch with a criminal past inherits a magical bank that can think for itself. And the clientele are almost as dangerous as what's inside their safety deposit boxes.
I like that.
It's a magical bank, kind of going along the lines of Ilana Andrews' Innkeeper series. And it doesn't have as much romance, maybe a little more blood and gore.
We like the blood and gore. We like the blood and gore.
Yes, we do. So that series has been so much fun. Excuse me. And then the Blue Helix series is my LGBTQ dystopian sci-fi. Those 2 books, Sleepwater Beat and Sleepwater Static, were both international bestsellers just within a couple months of their release, which was fantastic.
Wow.
Those ones are really dark, gritty, like noir feel. And there is some like alternate history in there. I like to sort of describe those as the girl with the dragon tattoo meets X-Men, but these superpowers are with the spoken word.
I love that.
Yeah,
That's
you.
a good mix. That's a good mix.
I have a lot of mashups with some very strange things, but it works out, right? And
absolutely.
Yeah, then let's see, I have the Unclaimed Trilogy, which is like less dark and violent and bloody, probably more along the lines of like new adult coming of age epic fantasy. And that was the series that taught me that I actually could write and publish 3 books in a year before I started ghostwriting right after I had my daughter. And I realized that if I didn't kick myself into gear, I would probably not be writing at all after becoming a mom. So I made a plan and a structure, and that was the trilogy that I think was the first ceiling I broke through when I realized that those things were possible.
Absolutely. That's hard to do, running the mom life, trying to get time to write. I understand that all too well. I don't write,
but still being a mom and doing anything, it's
absolutely
takes a lot of work.
No, it's very true.
And then I have the Ginona's Children duology. Those were my first 2 books. Very grim, dark, epic fantasy. The Jungle Book meets Kill Bill with dragons. those two books opened up my world of writing and publishing and starting this whole journey. And I'm working on, like 3 other projects of my own right now, moving forward while I continue the ghostwriting work. So I'm just
I was gonna say, on top
yeah.
of the ghostwriting.
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
I just
Talk about pressure.
yeah, I'm one of those people who thrive under pressure. So unless I feel it coming down on me, I don't really get much done. So I need to have that pressure, and it's not always it doesn't always feel good, but I get things done, and then I feel better about it. It's just the way I work.
It's very, very true. I just want to say hi to Juicy for popping in. Juicy says, nice dreads. I agree. You can
Oh,
pull them
thank
off.
you.
That's something I could never pull off. I'm jealous.
Oh, thank you so much. They look much better now than they did
Before
forever ago when I got them. Yeah, they don't start out looking that wonderful.
and it takes time. Beauty
hmm
and elegance and all that stuff takes
Oh, yes.
time, right?
Yes,
Any type
thank
of
you.
style.
Beauty
Thank
and
you for
elegance.
popping in. Yeah, that's right. Beauty and elegance. I don't know if I've got any of that.
Yeah,
It's just roll out
me
of bed in the
neither.
morning. This is what you get. Listen. Thanks
Yeah.
for popping in, Jay. No worries. We'll have you back later on. And what's your experiencing with KDP Select been like? Is a question that's popped up from Juicy.
Oh, actually, it has been incredible. I had started uh putting my books in Kindle Unlimited. It was years ago, I think actually, when I published the Unclaimed Trilogies, all 3 of them actually. I had all 3 of them in KU, and I wasn't that aware of what I was doing, how to really like utilize what KDP Select had to offer, both for my readers and for myself. I went through sort of a whole revamping process as I was writing the Accessories to Magic series. And I still wasn't 100% sure what I was doing exactly, but I did have a mentor help me through sort of the marketing aspect of these books in the series before I even started writing, which is actually um, a huge lesson that I had to learn, that that all starts way before the books are even written. And so now, and this started when I released The Witching Vaults, the first book in the Accessory to Magic series, and it has continued all the way through. Having those books in KU has been, in Kindle Unlimited, has been absolutely amazing. I think it's something like 84% of my royalties are from Kindle Unlimited page reads right
Oh
now.
wow, that's good.
And it's wonderful. It's a lot. It's interesting to see that switch. There are still plenty of people. I am one of them who buys the ebooks and who buy paperback books as well. But yeah, Kindle Unlimited has really kicked things up a notch for me, especially in the last 8 months. Which has been really great. I like it. My readers like it. Yeah, everybody's happy.
Yeah, it's a good tool to have, because
Mhm.
as a book nerd, I'm sure of course you can relate, because writers are also readers. It's just you end up buying so many books and your pocket and your bank account hates you. So
Mhm.
sometimes
Mhm.
having that Kindle Limited where you can pay a flat rate a month and have like this, smorgasbord of books that you can dive into whenever you want, and it's
Mhm.
it's it's really helpful for sure. Although I'm
Definitely.
guilty, and as soon as I read a book that I love, if I don't own the physical copy, I go and buy it anyways to
Yes,
have on my
yeah.
shelf.
If it's that good, I do also have to have it as well. Yeah.
And the covers, which leads me into your covers, as I was
Oh,
looking through what you have out there, and I was like, oh my gosh, these are cover by worthy books. Just for
yeah.
that alone, I'm thinking my
Thank you.
bookstagram photos.
Yeah. Yes. I mean, yeah. I have been fortunate enough to. I think I finally found the cover designer who will be making everything for me forever, for as long as he continues to do this.
Yeah,
He's incredibly talented, and yeah. So thank you. Yeah, those covers are They're wonderful.
He's not allowed to go anywhere then. So if he
No,
sees this by chance, not allowed to go anywhere. You have to keep designing, keep
he
creating that
knows.
artistic.
Tell him that.
Never.
Constantly, yeah.
No retiring, no quitting. You are now.
He's as long as he's around, I've
Oh,
got him.
that's gotta feel good too, because I know that's part of the whole creative process of putting your book out there. And the cover, I mean, I know they always say don't judge a book by its cover, but
We all do.
we
Everyone
all
does.
do.
It's
especially
true.
now especially now with
Right.
all the social media, Bookstagram, TikTok, Twitter, everything, even holding a book up for a review on YouTube, all of it is eye-catching. That's one of the first things that pulls me in. And then when I hear the synopsis or hear somebody's review on it and what it's about, even just the slightest description mixed with that cover, if it's something I'm interested in, I'm getting
That's it.
It's
It's game over. Yeah,
yeah, exactly. Or walking into a bookstore, who doesn't go up and down the aisles and think, okay, the spine's great, but I need to see the full cover.
Oh yeah, it doesn't matter what it's called. You have to see the whole thing. Yeah. Oh,
Absolutely.
haven't been into a bookstore
Forever.
in a really long time. Yeah, and I mean probably almost 4 years.
Wow. So even before all the pandemic stuff and
Yeah.
wow.
I'm a very introverted homebody person. I can go out and, have fun with people when that's allowed. Um, I I think I developed a bit of social anxiety in person after my daughter was born.
Oh
Um,
no.
so the last time I walked in, I think it's hilarious. The last time I walked into a Barnes and Noble, this was for my birthday. My daughter was 6 months old. I was finally ready to oh, I can go out by myself and have a me day. I'll go to Barnes and Noble. I'll get myself a cupcake. I'll buy this book that I wanted to get, and then I'll sit and read for hours, and it'll be great. And I had a panic attack in the bookstore, so I went out to my car.
No.
I ate my chocolate cupcake in my car by myself and read my book in my car in the Barnes and Noble parking lot. I think I was very I got really anxious about how many books were there and the fact that I couldn't look at them all, couldn't read them all, and I hadn't been out by myself to do something like that since way before my daughter was born. It's just an interesting change. I think it's a funny story. But I just haven't gone into a Barnes Noble in a long time.
Well, and it makes sense too. And being a mom, I can kind of relate with you there. Even just the separation from your children when you're not used to it, that doesn't help either. That adds to that anxiety, because you're thinking, is everything okay? I should really go home. How dare I be out and about by myself?
Right?
I need to be there for my kids. Yeah. So, I mean, that doesn't help either. And then all the people, I mean, I love people. I really do.
There are people everywhere.
Yeah. But sometimes, and I don't know how many times I've been, in a bookstore and somebody will come up and say, well, what would you recommend? Do you read a lot of horror? And I'm like, listen, I don't know.
What are you into? Recommendations? Be careful, please.
That's right.
Yeah.
I read a lot of Indian small press stuff. So, I mean, and that's where my heart also lies, because you find these magnificent pieces of reads out there. I mean, the stuff that Indian small press can put out, not that large press is bad by any means. I read large press as well, but I just find that you can find these raw, different, unique stories through the smaller press and through the indie world. So people don't, a lot of times I'll say, well, have you heard of this author? Have you heard of this? And they're like, I've never heard of that. I'm like, well, listen, you need to go and find these people. Yeah, exactly. Go and find them. Here's my Bookstagram. Here's my YouTube. Here, look at the reviews.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, as an indie publisher, thank you for that support. It's always, I feel like the best way to get word out there, obviously. Word is just by word of mouth. Telling people this was awesome, you need to read it. And yes, it can do big things that way. It can make
it's very true. I don't know how many times, actually, just a couple live shows ago, just last Saturday, one of the authors said, if you publish something independently or you go through a small press that may not be as well known, the thing is how do your readers find you? And so, having these live shows or doing author spotlights, doing these things for authors to help get the word out, reviewing their pieces, word of mouth is huge. And I thought, I never even thought about that, because everyone knows the large publishing companies. Everyone knows HarperCollins, Simon & Schuster, Macmillan, all of those, right? And they have those catalogs of books out there that people can just scroll through whenever they want to see what's coming out soon, any new releases. But if you've got somebody who's just starting out, who's done independent, or somebody that's been scooped up from a small press that may not be as well known. I mean, clearly they are in the community that I'm in, because that's what I've surrounded myself with. But outsiders, I don't know how many times I've had people say, well, how do you find these authors? How do you know these people? And I'm like, just surrounding myself with a community, and you meet people, and then you meet people that they're connected with, and you just grow this world. And then, the reading, you guys, anyone watching, this is top-notch reading, I'm telling you. And again, it's no hate to the large publishing companies. I know that but it's just, I find that they're a business and they want to make money, rightfully so, but they're wanting to publish the stuff out there that they know is going to sell. But then a lot of times, they're taking out the excitement part of the stories, or the story ends up being like the same storyline, just different characters to the book it sits next to on the shelf. And when you're an avid reader, reading anywhere from 100 books to 160 books every year, you need that unique, different story to dive into, right?
Yeah, the world of indie publishing and small press publishing has really opened up a lot more of the gateway towards diversity in writing, whether that's, representation, whether it's just stories in general, characters, worlds, plots, styles. Excuse me. Yeah. I remember that when you were talking, that made me remember, I think I had stopped reading fantasy altogether when I was like a junior or senior in high school. And I was just like, nothing is good. Like they're all the same. And I feel like I've read this over and over and over. Yeah. And then actually I think I was in I don't know, I was 21 maybe, and someone had shown me A Song of Ice and Fire, the series, George R. R. Martin, and I started reading that, and I was like, okay, so not everything is the same. And it's hard to find those pieces that like stick out, like, oh, this is why you enjoyed reading this genre in the first place. And I've found so many indie books and small press books that I've been so impressed with and have enjoyed so much, and have thought even like I would never find something like this from a big traditional publisher. And I love the fact that there's just so much more out there to be discovered, which is wonderful. And it's good for me too, yes, as a writer. As an author, absolutely.
Inspiration, reading, all of that.
Yeah, all of it. It's really nice.
Yeah, these delicious little pieces of goodness that you just can't stop devouring. And then you've got like a reading list of 100 plus books, and that's just the review list. That's not the books that you've picked out on the side, right?
Yeah, for fun.
Yeah, it's never ending. Sorry guys, I'm not ignoring you guys in the comments. I'm gonna pop these up here. Hungry Bookworm Julie, thank you for popping in. And she says she's a huge Kindle Unlimited user, and she's always got like 11 books out, which I mean, it makes sense. It's affordable, it's there. James says it's been 8 years since he's been in a bookstore. He's done all of his on Kindle, ordering online.
That really makes me feel a lot less alone in my experience of like, I love books. I love paperback books. I love being surrounded by them. I have a giant library at home. It's really great to know that I'm not alone and not having been to a bookstore in years. Thank you, James.
Yes. And it's true. And I'm sure this is why all the bookstores are like, you guys are making us, we're suffering here. Come by. We'll order online, okay? We'll go to your website.
Yeah, and I do that too. If I want a paperback copy, I will order from a physical bookstore. Because that's where I want a physical copy to come from.
What we need more of the like larger bookstores like Barnes and Noble, or here in Canada we've got Chapters Indigo. We need them to start holding more indie and small press work. that way. I heard Barnes and Noble's pretty good about that, though, is that if you request a certain book, that they will go and order a good amount of them, like 5 or 10 of them, to also stock on the shelves as well. I don't know if that's true. That's what I've heard.
Yeah. Well, I know that anyone can go into a Barnes and Noble and order a physical copy of one of my books through Barnes and Noble, and they'll order it from my printer. So I do know that works, but I didn't know that there's, a request, or maybe it has to be requested a certain amount of times. I'm not sure, but
that's just what I've heard. I may be wrong, so don't hold me to that.
But okay, I don't know either.
If it's not Barnes and Noble, if you're watching, let's make this a thing. But it's very true. And here in Canada, they don't do that. It's even to try to find an indie or small press book, even on their website, that they will order and deliver to you. It's very slim to none. And we need more of that, because it means that I'm pushed a lot of the times to get what I want to get from Amazon, because they have it, right? And everyone's saying, "Oh, don't order from Amazon. They're killing bookstores."
When you can't find it anywhere else.
Yeah.
How are you supposed to get it?
What are you supposed to do? Maybe the other places should start accommodating and opening their arms up to these things, and then I can order through them, and it will be all good. We'll all be happy.
Yes, that works. There's always ordering directly from a small press or the author.
The small press. Yes, if that's an option, it's not always
absolutely.
An option. Right? Yeah. Or sometimes for us Canadians, we have to consider the exchange rate plus the shipping costs, and sometimes it's just our shipping costs just suck. We've got Jason Weirdreads here in the chat. He's also Canadian. He can relate that the shipping cost of Canada is just outrageous.
Sorry,
which
guys.
makes things. Yeah, no, I'm jumping here. I'll catch up quickly. See, we've got Lewis already giving me heck, saying, "How dare I ignore them all?" Lewis, I'm sorry. Oh, we've got pen to paper. Hi, Leah. How are you? Let's see. We've got Jason says that he loves Kindle. 8 whole years though going into a bookstore. Yeah,
it's hard. I haven't been 8 years either. For me,
I have to go to get groceries this afternoon in the city, and I was contemplating whether I wanted to make a stop at a bookstore. But the other thing is money. You go in there, you're going to end up spending at least $100.
More than you should. Yeah, it's true. My in-laws have been giving me Barnes and Noble gift cards. Oh. Probably since I met my husband. And it's all the gifts, which is perfect.
Best gift ever. Best
they don't
gift
last
ever.
Very long.
No, they don't. As soon as you get them, you're like, well, I already have a list. I know how I'm going to spend this already.
Yeah, just like click. Okay, we're good. We're done.
James, I can relate to this, that you live an hour and a half away from the closest store. That's how far I live from the closest bookstore. That's how far I live from where I do my groceries. So that's what I'll be doing after this show. I'll be heading into the city an hour and a half and going to get groceries, have some me time.
Yeah, it's a whole day-long process.
Yeah, but it does make a difference for sure. If you don't have a bookstore that's close to you, Amazon, online, it is a huge reason to go and do something else for sure. I'm sorry, I'm trying to block that one, not pop it up on the screen. Thanks, StreamYard.
Well, moving on.
Yeah, we always get people in here trying to, and I actually had a conversation with StreamYard and found out that some people you can actually block and some people you can't, depending on what service they're using. So that was
wow. That's interesting.
Yeah, that was interesting to know. So I was trying to block that, but another comment came through as I was blocking it and ended up making me pop it up on the screen. So I'm sorry.
I don't blame you at all.
The answer is no. We both have kids. There you go.
Yeah, we've been speaking about that. So okay, all right.
Well, perfect. Well, this is really exciting. So I would love to know a little bit more about, if you don't mind me asking more about the ghostwriting part of things, because that's exciting, because you get to do all this background stuff and writing these worlds and in all these genres that you don't necessarily write in particularly yourself on the regular for your books.
Yeah.
Do you find it ever struggling to do something like this and for them to put out this piece and to know that you wrote it, but maybe not getting as much recognition from it? Or I don't know how it works.
No, right. I don't get any recognition from it. I do sign NDAs with all my clients, so I can't talk about who I write for or what I've written. Sometimes when I'm particularly proud of something, I'm proud of most things that I write, but there have been a few where I was like, that was really fun and I enjoyed it and I love what I did. That may be a little difficult sometimes, but I think what makes up for it is first and foremost that I am being paid for it. And I, like that makes it worth it in and of itself. Um, and I still stock reviews for the things that I've written, for the things that I've ghost written.
What are people saying?
Oh, I can't even tell you some of the best reviews either because those might be giveaways, so I don't want to do that. But readers still love the stories and the series that I have written for my clients, and that makes it worth it too because I can kind of sit behind the scenes and if someone doesn't leave a fantastic review, and that happens, it happens to all books everywhere, I can just say, well, it's not connected to me. And then I can also take a lot of pride in the fantastic reviews that are left out there. And it has helped me a lot in learning and understanding the kinds of story tropes and characters and humor, especially. I think that is more, how do I want to say this? That appeals to a wider, more mass market audience because that is what I ghostwrite most of the time. And so I kind of took an experimental route when I wrote the Accessory to Magic series. So I was taking everything I had learned from ghostwriting urban fantasy for a year and a half at that point and putting my own special brand of darkness and violence on it and mixing it with humor and seeing how well it would do. And it has been doing very well, far better than I anticipated. And I'm really, really very proud and humbled by that because I didn't know how it would work when it's just me, right? Like when I'm ghostwriting, all I have to do is write. I just get to write all day. I don't have to do any of the behind the scenes marketing, formatting, covers, editing, any of it. I just get to write it and I'm done and move on to the next one. But it's been an incredible learning experience and resource for me in also, gleaning super useful information that I can take back into my own business. And I kind of cherry pick because I don't necessarily write exactly what my clients write. So I am, I'm using multiple different voices all day, every day. But I get to take the best of all the worlds and kind of put them into my own, which has been incredibly useful.
I'm sorry, James. He's asking what ghostwriting even is. I'm sorry. Maybe I should have started there and got her to explain the process first.
So the majority of ghostwriting that I do is basically I'm writing in pre-established worlds and universes under pre-established pen names belonging to other authors, and I'm basically writing for a brand at that point. So it's a name, company, pen name, brand, world that has grown so large that there's an increased demand for more stories, and the reader base and fans for these are massive. So I come in as a ghostwriter to continue providing new stories within the same framework because one author on their own most likely could not continue to keep up that level of production to fit the rising demand that the readers are looking for. And that is the majority of what I do. And so people do ask me, like, why would you do that? You won't have your name on it. You don't get recognized. I don't, and that's fine. I get paid very well to not have my name on anything or be recognized for it. And like I said, that makes it useful and it makes it worth it. I also really love the opportunity to, work on a deadline and challenge myself. And without, like I said earlier, without that pressure, I wouldn't have a reason to write as much as I do. I write 3 books a month. And so
Wow.
it takes,
A
yeah,
month?
a
Holy
month.
moly.
Yeah.
Jeez.
So it's what I do. That is my day job. I don't have anything else. And it's basically like a lot of it's practice. I get to practice my craft without any of the extra work that goes into it.
Yeah.
So, and
A
it's
same reaction, Juicy. 3 books a month.
yeah,
What?
yeah.
But I guess if
I'm
that
an
is
insane
your
person.
I guess if that is your job and that's what you're doing, right? You get to do what you do and do what you love for your career and make money off of it, and then still have time to be able to focus on your own stuff that does have your name on it. Besides,
Yeah.
this is where you get credit. When we talk to you and we find out what
Right.
you do, right? This is where
Yeah, that is the credit I get. Yeah. One of those books a month is mine. In various capacities. So yeah. That's how much I'm writing. And I love it. It took me a long time to get up to the point where I could write this much in a month. But now it's it's just like, I have grown my muscles. I've trained my writing self. And it's just like getting better at any other skill that's out there. And which ties into I see this from Hungry Bookworm.
Any advice for a
Sorry,
newbie writer?
No, I was gonna say, yeah, which is the advice that I excuse me, would have given myself, is just write every day. It doesn't matter if you think it's good or not, or if it actually is good or not. Make that commitment to writing a certain number of words every single day, or for a certain amount of time every single day, and stick to it and make sure that it's something that is sustainable and that you can stick to. That's the only reason I was able to continue writing after having my daughter, because I realized that if I didn't do this every single day, it was going to drop out of my life. Like, I had to make that commitment, and so that commitment to just doing it first is the most important part, and then it is really just a matter of practice. Talk about practice makes perfect, and I will not say that any of my work is perfect, but it's a lot better. It continues to improve with every single work and every single time I sit down to work on something. And there was something else, but it completely left my head. Those would be the first biggest pieces of advice, to just keep doing it. And
it's gonna pop back. It's gonna pop back for you, and you're gonna be like, "Oh yeah, I forgot what I was gonna say."
Yeah, it will come back. It will. It always does. At the weirdest moments too. That's fine. Yeah.
Hey Mindy, thanks for popping in here. Juicy was wondering how many words for those 3 books a month in total. Can you give an idea of how many words it is?
I average about 14 to 15,000 words a day. And that is, and I don't write on the weekends, so that's Monday through Friday. And I get up at 3 o'clock in the morning because that early is the most productive time for me. So I'm in bed at 8:30 or 9, and I wake up at 3. I start writing at 4, and then I usually go till about 2 or 3. And yeah, get that many words in there.
Dedication, just like you said, it's routine. You have to just do it. It's like working out. Don't say you're gonna start Monday. Just dedicate the time and do it.
Or do it now. Do it now. And
right.
even if it's, I started out with, okay, I'm going to write 1,000 words a day, 5 days a week, no matter what. And then, when I did the math on that, and this was in 2018, and I realized that I could write an entire book in 14 weeks, which seemed impossible to me. I was like,
Yeah.
what? And then it just kept going from there. There's so many things that I thought were impossible to do that I have proven myself wrong time and time again. And that's another great piece of advice, is that, the only limitations that any of us have as writers are the ones that we place on ourselves.
Yeah,
And so
absolutely.
the more you open yourself up to, oh, I can do this, or I'm at least going to try,
Yes.
the more you'll understand about what's
And
possible. Yeah.
and you don't know if you can do it till you try, right?
Right. Very true.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
We have a question here from Jason that would like to know, how did you get into ghostwriting and does it pay well?
I got into ghostwriting because I found out that it does pay very well. So it was I had listened to a live webinar. I can't even remember who was hosting it, but it was about ghostwriting, and they had a guest come on to talk about the ghostwriting that he had done, and he was talking about the numbers and pay, and for this much per word, or this much for this series or project or what have you. And then the light bulb went on in my head. I was like, I can just write books for other people and get paid for it, and that's all I have to do. Like, I have to publish it. Yes, that's amazing. And so I just kind of followed along there. And the person who gave the webinar had like sort of a ghostwriting boot camp. And I finished it in about half the time that it was structured for. It was structured for 12 months, and I was like through it, done with it in 6 months, and started taking on clients. And then it became just again, like it is with indie books, small press books, it's a matter of word of mouth and networking and who you know. And I have discovered so many more authors and publishers out there who use ghostwriters than I ever expected. But I end up knowing about it and hearing about it because I'm speaking with them about potentially working with them, which is awesome. I can't tell anybody about it.
They're keeping it to yourself. You guys,
Right.
I'm working on a project, but I can't share that with you guys. Sorry.
Yeah. So, that part is frustrating, not being able to talk about ghostwriting projects when I'm really, really excited about them. But then I can, talk about ghostwriting is really great, guys. And I write a lot. I wish I had more books of my own to show for writing a lot, but that is changing. I think being a ghostwriter has also, it has definitely provided me with an opportunity to fund my own writing career. And now things are starting to switch, where I won't have to be ghostwriting so much anymore, and I will be able to very soon just focus on my own books, if that's all I want to do. I have contracts to fulfill first, so I gotta ride that out. But after that, it will be possible that way, which is fantastic. It's another reason to get into it. And it has paid very well. It's been really wonderful. My husband stopped working in October of 2019. He said that he wanted to be a stay-at-home dad and spend more time with our daughter, and asked if I wasn't writing nearly as much at the time, ghostwriting. He asked if we could make that work, and I said, well, I guess we're gonna have to. So I'm gonna do it.
Give it a try.
Why
I
not?
mean, what's the worst? I mean, he can always go
thrive
back to
under
work.
pressure. Exactly. It's like I need that pressure to succeed, and we made it happen, which is really awesome. So that's been a great journey for sure.
That's exciting. And I was going to say, let's not lose the fact that she also has books of her own out there.
Yes,
she's not. I know it's so interesting to talk about the ghostwriting. And like you said, not being able to share projects that you have on the go. It's not like when you're writing your own piece and you can't necessarily give the information yet, but then down the road, a month from now or 2 months from now, you'll be able to share and to do a big announcement of your release or a cover reveal or something like that. When it's ghostwriting, it's hush hush from start to finish, and even after the fact. That would be so hard to do. So, I mean, huge respect and kudos to you, but we can't forget that you also have your own pieces out there too. I know we've done
No,
we've
and
done
that's okay.
so far into there, and I'm like, she's got her own stuff too, you guys.
I wrote it all. It's all good, I promise.
Yeah, exactly. But if you want to pick up something that she's written and that you can read it, check out her work for sure. She's got a few series out there. And when I was looking through what you have, I was already just in shock and awe of how many books you have, and the fact that you've got so many books in the series, and that you had just completed the Accessory to Magic series. Because when I was looking, I saw that there was 4 books on your website, and you were saying that you just finished book 5 in June, which is really exciting. And those covers, I'm telling you guys. So if you want to binge some of her work, this is it's easy to do, right?
Yes. I have had so many readers, which is just fantastic. Shout out about how much they have loved the entire series. And so I've been told it's quite binge worthy. Go for it. It's also on Kindle Unlimited, so you don't even have to pay for it.
Well, and if you've got 5 books, I mean, how nice is that? Because it's, you find an author, you love what they do, you love what they put out there, you start diving into a series that they've just started, but they're still, pumping out the books, and you have to sit and wait patiently. And then sometimes you have to go back and reread. And
and sometimes they don't ever finish the series. There's that too. I will never be one of those, just for anyone out there.
Yeah. Oh, that's good. That's good to know.
No, I'm too anal retentive to be able to not finish the series.
Well, that's really exciting. So she's got binge-worthy series out there. So just jump in. You can just devour all 5 books in a row, and then you'll be asking for more, I'm sure. I haven't had the privilege yet of getting to read any of Kathrin's work, because we just recently connected, and I'm just hearing about her too, you guys. But, it doesn't mean that it doesn't go on that never-ending wish list that's slowly taking over the world.
Yes. It will be there. Yes.
I always make the joke that my TBR pile is so large it's going to fall over and crush me one day, but it's okay because I can read my way out. Heaven on earth, right?
I guess I'll just have to take my time with this.
Yeah, well, I better start reading. Let's get to it, right?
You won't be interrupted. You'll be buried.
That's right.
Fine.
So that kind of leads, we talked a bit about family, and that kind of leads into another question I was going to ask you, is if your family was supportive of what you do, whether they read your work or whether they just give you the time to be able to focus on what you do.
Yes, my husband is my number one on there. I wouldn't be doing this. I wouldn't be able to do this if he had, first of all, if he hadn't stopped working. Which, it was a win-win there. He takes care of pretty much every single facet of our lives. I get to lock myself in my office at home and write all day. Obviously I do come out and I have relationships with my family, and I parent our daughter with my husband, but he he's like my personal assistant, and is the one who runs everything in the house. He communicates with everyone. He takes our daughter to school. And he has always been incredibly supportive of my writing and what I do. He has not yet. It's really wonderful. He's my number one guy. He hasn't read a single one of my books, but it doesn't matter. So, hey,
sometimes the support is just giving the author the time to do what they do, right?
Exactly. And I think it was, he already supported me before I started ghostwriting and before my career really took off, but I think it has probably added to a little more validation maybe for him. Just being able to see that yes, we could make it work this way. And then my family, I have 4 siblings, and 3 of them are married, and they're all incredibly supportive of my work as well. Some of them have read my stuff, some of them have not. I do have some family members, unfortunately, who will say like, "Oh, I'm not going to read that because it has this, this, and this in it,"
Oh no. Well,
whatever they might happen to not agree with for personal reasons or what have you, and that's okay. Like,
everyone's
not
got their
everything.
taste, right?
Exactly. Not everything is going to be for everyone. And but I am one of the fortunate ones who can say like, well, at this point no one can really tell me that there's no point in writing because it won't pay the bills. So
I should
that's
always have this ready. I gotta pop this up. Oh my goodness, Jason, I didn't have this ready and I should have had it ready. I always ring a bell.
yay! Thank you. That's awesome.
It happened one day in a live and I thought, I need like to have one of those big huge bells that I
Yeah.
can just start ringing.
You've got the bells. Excellent.
But
That's
I've
fantastic.
got these like Christmas bells. So somebody asked me one day if I was shaking a cat, and I'm like, no, I promise, it's not.
The cat was really acting up, so it's fine. You don't need to see it. The cat was
Yeah,
having a bad
that's
day.
right. That's right. Listen, it was in my way. Just about knocked over the camera.
Yeah, just kicked it.
Well, that's
I don't. I have
exciting.
pets. We don't. No violence to animals.
No. All jokes. I hope they
Totally
understand
joking.
that.
Yeah. I felt the need to clarify because
Yeah.
sometimes you never know.
You never know who's gonna come across and see this and not realize who they're watching it.
Right, they're just being funny and would never do such a thing. So.
Yeah. Well, Jason, maybe we'll have to plan like a buddy read or something. I know your list is long, dude. So is mine, but we can always find time to squeeze it in there.
That's so exciting. Just anyway that it was that he wanted to pick it up enough, which is fantastic. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. It's always exciting. It feels good, right? I mean, I'm not even the author, and here I'm all excited. So not only on top of writing your own stuff and having a family and ghostwriting, you're also a member of the HWA as well as the Sci-Fi and Fantasy Writers of America. I almost forgot the name to that society. That's really exciting.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, that was a big step. I think it was the end of 2019 that I was able to be a member that and so that's been great, yeah.
Oh my goodness. And I'm sure that probably adds on to your workload or having to participate in things or
not really. There are some things that, it's all like voluntary as long as excuse me, wow. At least what I'm involved in. They have like the award nominations, and that's all up to members to decide how much they want to be involved in those things. I haven't done too much. I've been a bit busy.
Yeah.
Things. But it is nice to be a part of, like trade organizations and the like. It's a nice little like boost.
Those groups. Sorry, Juicy. The HWA is the Hoarder Writers Association. Yeah. I'm sorry. I popped that in there. Here, I didn't give the acronyms for the sci-fi fantasy, but of course I give the acronym for the HWA because I know
what is that? Yeah. Which is great. And I was fortunate. Like I don't write specifically horror, but the Horror Writers Association accepts memberships based on dark fiction as well. So anything that qualifies as dark fiction, whether it's fantasy, sci-fi, or horror, or that has those really dark elements in there, qualifies for membership, and with various other terms. So that was very cool. I haven't ever written anything that's purely horror, but I get close enough.
Maybe one day you'll sneak into that way. Oh, and you know what? I'm sorry, Kathrin. I never gave you a warning just in case StreamYard's been having a problem and around that like hour mark. it just shuts me off and I come right back. So if I disappear for 2 seconds, I will be right back. It just closes down the browser. And then the browser opens back up and we're good. But I see my screen starting to flash. And I'm like, oh man, it's going to do it again.
No. Well, then I'll stay here. It's fine. Yeah. It's like the warnings that Netflix gives you. Are you still watching? Yes, I've been watching this whole time.
Yes, I still want to watch. Yep. Why are you making me have to click a button for that?
You trying to tell me something, Netflix? That's right. Let me do what I want to do.
Thanks for coming, Julie. Thanks for coming, James. We'll catch you guys later.
Yeah, thank you. This is fun.
Well, and we are hitting that hour mark too. And I know you're busy. My goodness, we've already discussed how many things you have on the go. And it's also Saturday and you've got family time as well. So I don't want to keep you much longer, Kathrin, because that's not fair. This is like the prime family time is the weekends, right? And I thank you so much for working around my schedule too to be able to
this worked for both of us. It's hard being doing the things we do that is anything above and beyond being a mom. It's a lot. So I'm happy to be here, happy to step away from my family for a bit, but
mental break. Let's talk books.
You are giving me incredible value as well. Thank you.
Absolutely. Well, it's been such a pleasure getting to know you and getting to know more about you and your work, and to know that now I have a potential buddy read here with Jason of one of your pieces. And those covers, they stand out at you. I need to become like Oprah Rich, because as I was looking at the books, I was like, I want to buy every single one of them all in one sitting, but I can't do that.
I know. There are too many things in this world.
Well, but thank you so much, Juicy. Yeah, no, absolutely. No, it's very exciting getting to do. I would love, in an ideal world, to be able to read the author's work prior to having them on your channel for everything. But I do get to connect, through your publicist. That's how I got to meet you, right? So it was so exciting, but I didn't have time to be able to squeeze anything in between then. But getting to know you and your personality, it's really a big part of the process. It only makes me that much more excited to go and to dive into some of your work. And it's neat how you can see an author's personality kind of jumping off the page once you've had a moment to get to know them.
Well, she jumped off. I'm not sure if I'm still on here. If I am, everyone's watching me, and we'll wait for there. Oh, there she is.
See? Did you do a little dance?
Yeah, I was so cool about it. I was like, well, it's just you guys, so we'll wait for a second. And, let me introduce you.
Oh, that's right. I had one author that one time when I was coming in, when I came back, he was like, the monsters got her. Where did she go? Oh, it's so. You know what? StreamYard really does need to fix that, because it's been going on for months now, and it makes it hard because you're like, well, should I shut it down before we hit that hour mark? Sometimes it can happen at like 45 minutes, but usually it's right around like that 55 minutes and on. That's where it will happen. It's like, oh, man. But technology, right? It wouldn't, like I said, it wouldn't be a live show if we didn't run into problems all the way through.
That's
right?
the fun thing about live, because you can't edit it out. You can't make it look better. Not that there's anything we need to make look better right now. That's not what I'm saying. No, I like live. Yeah, you never know.
Yes. Yeah, both of our noses are pierced.
Beside.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
You say you got double-sided?
No, I was trying to point to this. It's like I forgot what side it was on, because I'm backwards in the camera, so I was like, wait, is it? Oh no, it's I confused myself.
I thought you were saying double-sided. I was like, oh, I'm so jealous. That would be so cool.
I have wanted to. Just, after my daughter was born, I haven't gotten any more piercings or any more tattoos. It's like, that went down the list of priorities.
Yeah, that's right. The cost, the money.
I can't drop $400 on a giant sleeve anymore, because
no, it's
gotta
expensive.
Use that diapers and stuff. Yeah.
Oh gosh, and childcare. Don't even get if
I know.
Both my husband and I work full time, and the cost of childcare is just outrageous. I just had a conversation with somebody about this the other day, and they're like, well, why do you even work? And I'm like, because unfortunately, if we didn't have two incomes,
right,
we'd be struggling even more, right? So at this point in our lives, it's just worth paying that. But maybe maybe I need to become a ghostwriter. No, I don't have the talent for it at all.
Oh, well, hey, you never know until you try, right? That's the
It's
thing.
very true. I don't know if I have
know?
the patience for it either. Like I said, I have huge respect for writers because the patience, the time, at least like you said, not having to go through all the editing when you're on that side of things. But
It's very nice. Yeah, I just get to
to do
write. I just get to write quickly, and it's almost like I'm channeling it, which
yeah.
is a whole that's a whole different, a whole different thing. But well, yeah, thank you. It's very fun to be able to do, and don't count yourself out if it's something you want
Yeah.
to do. Give
That's
it a shot. Give it a
That's
shot.
true. That's right. That's what
Yeah.
everyone says, right? But I'm always no. I feature the talent. I am not the talent.
I don't need to be.
I get the privilege of getting to talk to my type of celebrities, and that's what means the world to me. So
that is pretty awesome too. That is
yeah. I don't watch much TV or anything like that. I've always had my nose stuck in a book. So getting to talk to authors, you guys are my celebrities. So
Aww.
it's like I'll constantly fangirling over here, you know.
That is, that's definitely a whole new level though. Like who gets to do that really with, TV movie celebrities? I don't know, maybe a lot of people.
I guess if you're in that line of work, maybe,
Right.
or if you're well known or you have connections, definitely not myself.
Right. Not really mine either.
That's right. Well, perfect. Well, you know what, Kathrin, I will let you go. We'll shut things down now because I don't see any other questions or anything coming through. And it is Saturday. There's still the afternoon to be had. But it was such a privilege to get to have you on and get to talk to you and to know more about your work. And I'm excited to be able to dive into some of it and check some of it out.
Yes. Thank you so much for having me on.
Yeah.
This was a really great talk. Really wonderful.
Yeah. Do you have anything you want to share with everyone before we do hop off?
Well, I could say, where find me, all of my books can be found on my website, kathrinhutsonfiction.com. I'm on Facebook and Instagram at Kathrin Hutson Fiction and Twitter at Exquisitely Dark. I also have recently picked up, or I guess re-picked back up, making TikTok videos and book talk stuff. So I'm on TikTok at Exquisitely Dark as well. That's it. It's going to be a wild ride. We'll see what happens.
I'll have to see if I can find you. Listen, I just started a TikTok and I'm like, I'm not doing it. I'm not
it's
doing
like, whoa, what is going on?
I'm too old to figure all this out, but everyone's like, you got to do it. Like, it works. And I'm like, you know what? Any other platform to possibly be able to promote and talk about authors' work that I love, I'm like, well, all right, then I'll do it. I don't know what I'm doing, but
right.
So
you know what? As long as for me, as long as I don't try to spend like 2 hours making a 1-minute video, it doesn't need to be fancy. Just like do a thing, and that has been my biggest hurdle because I have a hard time doing anything if I know that I'm not like really, really, really good at it. So I'm releasing my pride with TikTok.
Yeah. Well, and then always thinking, I could be doing something else, right. That really needs my attention. More productive,
right? Yeah, that is also true.
Well, I'll make sure I find you on there as well.
Awesome.
But I'll also have all of her information in the description. As soon as we're done here, I'll make sure to go pop all that in so you guys can find her books, find her socials, go send her all the love, go check out her work. It will be all down there. So pop on back after the show and I'll make sure to get that in ASAP so you guys can check that all out. And it'll be all there for you to be able to click on. One click away. That's all it takes, right?
Yeah.
Well, perfect.
So nice.
Well, thank you so much, Kathrin. It was such a pleasure. And you are welcome anytime you ever have something coming out or something happening and you just want to jump on and chat about it. Just give me a poke and you're more than welcome to come on.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. I'm sure we'll be seeing each other again. It'll be lovely.
You can't get rid of me now that I found you.
I like that. That's fine. I'm not even gonna try to get rid of you. It's totally okay.
Good. I was like, make myself sound like I'm a total creeper or something.
I am too. It's fine.
Yeah. Oh, good. We'll get along just great.
Yeah, no problem at all. I get it.
Well, perfect. Well, thank you so much. And for everyone coming to watch, thank you. And anybody watching after the fact, thank you for coming by. And we will see you guys all later.
Thank you.